So we have the clay strips, and these strips are mesh
Yeah,
like
can
it's.
you hear me? Hope I was
Yeah, we can
clear.
hear you. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. So we have the clay strips. These strips are objects like a clay, clay, like a clay mold, and it gives a more broader, softer feel to our object deform than what the draw does. And the clay strips is basically the draw sharp version of clay. So we have clay thumb which pulls on it, pulls it outward, and then this mesh is making less and less sense the more I work on it. Sorry about that. So layer adds a layer on top of the mesh we're currently working with. We add a
Hello,
layer.
sir. I have a question.
Go on.
Yes, sir. I just joined the class now. How are you able to like edit, like change the sculpt view? Like,
Yours is
how do
not.
you,
Yours is not moving, Ari.
what?
Hello. Yours is not moving, right?
Yeah, it's not moving. Nothing is moving.
Okay. Go into edit mode. Click on all. Right click and then subdivide. Then increase your subdivision to like 10 or 8 or 9. Okay. Sorry, please excuse me. I'll soon be back.
Wow, thank
Thank you, it's working.
Have you solved the problem?
Yes, it's working. Thank you.
Okay, great. So the inflates it does exactly what it says. It inflates your mesh. You know, like the way a balloon operates. When you inflate a balloon, it does something similar, although in a less smooth way than what I described. But it does something similar to that. You can see. Let me put a new cube here. This one is getting this is getting more and more used. So it's difficult for us to see what's going
sorry.
on. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, sir. Everything is like I see they are doing the same thing.
No, they don't do the same thing. Look at this. So what inflate does, I'm currently on the inflate brush. You can see what inflate does. And now, if you go and use, sorry, if you use the draw brush, the draw brush, the draw brush gives sharper edges than the inflate brush gives. You'll notice that the edges on this side are sharper, while the edges on this side are a bit smoother. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they, like I said at the beginning, they do slightly different things. And so let's move on to the blob. Blob it does almost the same thing with inflate, but to a greater degree. If you notice, it moves up a lot more than inflate does. And crease adds line in your brush, in your mesh. You know what a crease in a cloth is? A part of the cloth that goes inward. So that's basically what it's about. You use this. I gave the example of the chair at the beginning. Although Blender now has cloth simulation, so we don't really need to use this for chair. But back then, before you had the cloth simulation, we can. This is what you used to create indents and holes in your chairs. So you go on to smooth brush. So the smooth brush kind of corrects your mistake and it smoothens things out. But if you overuse it, you kind of smoothen your entire mesh, and you can flatten the mesh with the smooth brush. So it kind of makes the sharp edges a bit smoother, as you can see here. But if you use the smooth brush on an already clean edge, it kind of just takes it down. As you can see on these edges, it makes the sharp edges smoother. So the next step will be the flattening edge. If you take the flattening brush on an inflated surface, it returns it back to its original size. But if you continue using it, it's going to keep going down. So it's a matter of precision. After that, we have the fill brush. I don't think I'll go over all the brushes. Let me just pick on one or two more that are important. Where is the grab brush? That's one of the most important ones. Yeah, grab. This picks on a surface and pulls it whatever way you want to pull it. You can pull it in whatever direction you want with the grab brush. And with the pinch brush, it does. No, that's not the pinch brush. The pinch brush does the same thing too. Hello? And these are the basic brushes we have. So you can increase the radius of your brush over here and work on a larger area at the same time. Or you can also increase the strength to what degree it acts. And this is acting a lot faster now than it was before. So that's the basic kind of brushes and what you can basically do with them. And to move in the inverse direction with a brush. For instance, I can give an example with the draw brush. The draw brush pulls our object outward, but to pull it inward, hold control, and it moves it to the opposite direction. So that applies to all the other brushes. Control makes it move in the opposite direction for what was originally moving in. And that's basically most of it for the type of brushes. Now, how we apply them and how we use them to create what we need to create is what Dozie will be taking us. So, Dozie, over to you. Hello, Dozie.
Yes, I'm here with you.
Okay, I'll stop screen sharing
So I
now, so you
can
can take over.
get right into it now.
Yeah, I can get right into the night now.
Yes. All right.
Okay, I've stopped screen sharing.
All right. All right. I'll share my screen in a bit. I hope everyone in the class has a background image for the knight piece on the chessboard.
No. What are
No,
we?
sir.
Okay.
So I sent it to
How
Slack.
have you guys been modeling the other pieces? Did you use?
He sent it to the Slack.
Come again.
Slack channel. Mr. Dejim sent it to the Slack.
Oh, okay. Background. All right. So it means we would need a background image. If you can download something, I'll send a link right away. Okay. But then what we'll do is let's get into my screen and then tell me when you can see my screen, please.
Okay, sir. Sir, instead of what down can Mr.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Wow, yes, sir.
You can see
Yeah.
your screen.
Okay, you can see my screen. Okay, so this is all right. So this is the knight's piece. I had to rush this in about 1 hour or less so that we can use the same amount of time to come up with something like this before this class ends. Okay, so if you look closely below the neck of the horse here, you'd see that there's still some work we need to smoothen out there. All right, but we'll try to make sure ours comes out better than this one. So I'll be opening an entirely new workspace now so that we start out with this box, this default cube that shows in So we'll be going a lot into our right perspective. If you see here, our front perspective and all other perspectives as we sculpt this. So up here, you need to go into sculpt mode. I think every other person, everybody in the class should be in sculpt mode already, right? While we work on these brushes. So in your modeling mode, first of all, make sure your box is subdivided. All right. So you subdivide with me here, and down here, we go and pick out the number of sides. So I would work with 10 here, and I would smoothen this out. I'll use 1. And this is what our default cube would look like. All right. So now we have a sphere, but it's from the default cube. We'll be working on this night piece in parts. Model the head differently from the neck segment and then the lower part of the neck. All right. So we'll need 3 of this or this spherical cube which we have here now. So we'll go back into object mode and duplicate this. I use Shift D to duplicate. So we have the second one and then another one. So we'll be using workspace. We would try our best to shapen these spheres to look a little bit like the night already before we go into our sculpting. All right. So I'll scale it in the different axes that will get me the shape of the head. So I'm working on this first one now, and I'll scale in Y. This, if you look at the front perspective here, which I just turned to now, you see that it's still broad. So I'll scale it in X as well. So I have something like this. All right. So I'll rotate to tilt at maybe 45 degrees. Then I'll come to this one. This one will give us the neck, upper neck segment of the horse or of the knight piece. So I'll scale this in the Y axis a bit and go to the front perspective and scale it in the X axis. All right. So I'll move it to be with this one and then rotate a bit so that it comes out. We can scale this a bit. So then the last piece, if you're still with me, I'll just scale to a bit, bring it, and go to the front elevation. You see, it's like it's still like a globe or a sphere. So we'll make it bigger. So our sculpting is going to beat this, beat it into the shape we desire. All right. So this is what we're going to be sculpting to achieve the night. So now that we have this, we can go into our sculpt mode. But then before we go into sculpt mode, sorry, we'll make all of this one object. All right. So we'll make this, when you select all 3, you right click and then join. So now you see that this is, when you grab it, it is 1. All right. It is 1 now. So you can go into sculpt mode. Okay. And this is how you see it. So we'll be working on this with these different brushes. Deji has taken the time to explain what these different brushes do for us. So to the desire of how we want to beat this object now. into the night, we'll pick the selected brushes. Now I'll start. I'll start from the base here. All right. So I'll
Wait,
start with.
sorry. Sir, why is
Okay.
yours in green, purple, and something, and white?
Okay, this is because I merged 3 different objects. Have you gotten to this stage? Is yours showing
Yes,
the same
I've
color?
merged it. I've merged it, but everything is
Different
still
color?
white.
Have you gone to your sculpt
Yes, sir, I'm in sculpt mode.
switch to sculpting? Is this still look all along?
Sir,
Does it still look white, or it's looking like what I have here?
it's still looking white. Or maybe it's my version of Blender. I'm using Blender 2.8.
Okay, but then what we need to achieve is that these brushes can have effect on them. All right. So if you click any of the brushes and try to beat it, see if something happens to it. All right.
Yes, sir. So things are happening. Thank you, sir.
All right. That's good. So that's all we need. The colors might change later on, and you can also set your colors from the. All right. From the Metcap
Yes,
Studio
sir.
flat and the material colors here. But then that's not a problem. Let's just, you have a clay and you're working on you want to carve in marks on your clay. You see, it's like a cotton brush. So be first of all, let's smoothen out all of this. All right, so that we don't have these joints marks here. So we use our smooth brush, right? This one, smooth brush. Come to the edges here. Oh, it's not smooth brush we need now. Okay, we'll inflate it first. Since we're focusing on these edges, make sure your brush should have a dot in the center and it's telling you where it's picking on. All right, so click inflate.
Sorry, what's really the radius of our brush?
You see that we're trying to make them blend into the shapes to blend into themselves, or the objects rather,
Sorry, sir.
to blend
Sir,
into themselves. So
someone
concentrate on the
asked,
parts where they
where's the
join and try to achieve this.
Hello? Hello?
sir, please can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
The radius of the brush I
Sir,
have is 50,
Hold on, Dozie.
50
Dozie, okay.
pixels.
Okay.
All right. So yes, that's a good question. We'll be going to change our brush radius. All right. And then your strength, if you need to know, your strength is 0.5. That's what I have here. So go ahead with your question. Okay.
it has been answered. I wanted to ask for the strength and radius.
Does someone has a question?
Yes, sorry. How do you use the inflate to get that? To get this effect? Because mine is not working like that.
All right. So,
Can you show it again?
oh, okay. When you have your inflates selected, right? Confirm that your radius up here is 50.
Yes, it is.
So once you confirm that your point is 50 and then your strength is 0.5, all right? Make sure your inflate is in this direction. The direction is positive. So it should be positive for the moment you select it. So if you have all these three checked and you come to the particular point where these shapes or these objects met themselves, okay, and then rub off, hold, click, hold, and keep rubbing on that spot. All right, like you're massaging it, it's going to inflate. Actually, as challenging as sculpting might be, it's very fun to handle. So I would rub off on these corners and then wait for you guys to confirm that you've achieved this. It looks rough, but then just rub off on the points where the objects meet. That's what we want to achieve, so that they don't look like balls that are just hanging from each other. All right, do we have this now?
Yes.
Are we all here? All right, so if we're here, I would want us to go to the smooth brush. Select your smooth brush so that you make this whole rough inflation smooth out. So you be careful not to click too fast and hold, okay? With your smooth brush, just tap it gently. If you don't, if you click and hold, it's going to go back to what you came out from. You're going to take it back to those things we try to inflate. So I'm clicking, I'm just giving it taps. And watch, the center of your brush likes to pick on a vertex. All right, see what I'm saying? Let me zoom in here so you can see. So you see that it's actually noting itself on a vertex there. And if I move closer to this vertex, it grabs on that one. All right. So this is going to guide you better. Once you click on this vertex, the effect is going to happen in the environment of that vertex specifically. All right. So all right. So when you have it slightly smoothed out, I don't think this one is, the upper one is so rough. So we'll move on to the next action. All right. Now the next action is like what we used to do in modeling. We're going to mirror this set of objects from the front view. All right. So we'll have to go back to modeling. We'll have to go back to modeling. Go to our front view. Turn on your transparency. All right. Turn it on so you can see that mine shows even the vertices behind it. All right. So, so the aim is to select exactly half of this object from the front elevation and delete. All right. So I'm deleting faces. So this is what I have. Tell me when you've gotten to this point so that we'll go mirror it.
I'm there.
All right. I hope many other members of the class are here too. Now, don't be restricted to your sculpt mode only when you're trying to achieve whatever you need to achieve with Blender, especially. Feel free to go to your modeling mode, especially when we want to make the base of this knight flat. All right, we mustn't use the sculpt brush to make it flat. If you can grab and move things around, it's going to help your experience with the sculpting. So here in this modeling mode, we want to mirror this. So go to your modifiers here, confirm that you're in modifiers, select this and mirror. All right, add your mirror modifier to have this. The reason for this is so that while we are working on one side of the night piece, the same effect happens on this other side, so that we don't sculpt two eyes that don't look alike on the night piece. All right, or we don't sculpt two marks that are not symmetrical. This is a symmetric character or object. So notice I'm moving this, and there is something I'm trying to check, so that you remember to clip inside the modifier tab. Where mirror is on, you turn on the clipping. So when you clip, it means
I don't
that
understand. Just tell
when
me
they
again.
meet themselves, they don't go past themselves. All right. So when we have this, you can zoom in to look for spaces. You see that?
Sapi, I didn't get what you said
Okay.
before.
Have you used the mirror modifier
Yes,
before?
I've used the mirror modifier.
The mirror modifier.
Yes, I've used it. It has mirrored, but the part of moving it, I didn't get that part.
Do you have your
Clipping.
yeah? Good, good. Do you have it on right now? After deleting half of the
Yes, sir.
okay, no, you don't really need to move it. I needed you to turn on your clipping. Yes,
Where, sir? Where?
just that. That is just why. So your
Where?
clipping would notify that there is no space in between the two parts, the mirrored part and the actual part of the object. All right. So they met at the center, and you have
Sir,
a
please, where is the
properly
clipping?
mirrored
Where?
object. So with this now, we can go back. All right, we can go back into sculpting. All right. So here in
Sir,
sculpting,
please, where is the clipping?
we'll start to just go back up here. Just click sculpting.
Sir, you are saying something about clipping. I said, where is the clipping on the blender?
Your clipping is in your mirror tab inside modifier. It is in the tab. It has a
Okay,
small
sir.
box that you have to
Yes,
just click, and
I've
then
seen it,
it's
sir.
selected. It's ticking.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Confirm that you found it. It's not. Can you see it here in my own?
Yes, sir, I've seen it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Inside your mirror modifier tab.
I've seen it, sir.
Have you found it? So have you turned it on? Okay, perfect, perfect. So go to sculpting. So go to sculpting now. So now we're in sculpting. We are ready to beat this guy. And now we're going to beat this shape. Fine, fine, fine. So let's start from the base here. I have my smooth brush selected. All right. Brush to use this smooth brush now. You see that whatever I do on this side is already happening on this side. So I want to smooth out the base. It's flat, and when we keep our chess piece, this knight piece on the board is going to stand. All right. So feel free to tilt your object into any angle. You know how to use the workspace motion, right? Tilt it into the best angle that you can beat it from. All right. Flatten this out using your smooth brush. And I remember when I said when you're using your smooth brush, try as much as possible to click, 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 click away, click, click, click away. Don't hold and drag. There are most of
So I'm not hearing anything. Good evening. I think his network has taken him out. Precious. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm sorry I left. The network logged me out. Um, I'll share my screen and we'll continue right away. Confirm that you can hear me, please.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
All right, thanks. So tell me.
Please, I'm not hearing anything.
All right, guys, I have to apologize again, but then let's get right into it. If you can see my screen now, confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, sir, I can see your screen.
Oh, okay, great then. So now, the last thing we did was trying to flatten out the base using the smooth brush. All right. So if you've achieved that, it doesn't have to be so neat. It should just look like something that will sit on a table. Now, join me, go to the modeling workspace here. I want us to move this head to tilt backwards, okay? So in our modeling, go to your side, which is right orthographic. Select a point, just any point here. Turn on your proportional editing, this button up here. All right. When you turn it on, grab. You see grab. When you grab it, scroll down to enlarge this circumference. All right. So this is what I want us to achieve if you're with me. Okay. You can pick another point at the tip of at the mouth. Grab again, reduce your circumference this time, and then move. All right. This is in the modeling tab, okay? But this is going to get us into very good environment, or give us a good object to sculpt. That is why we're doing this, okay? So you can hold anyone down here to grab, and you enlarge, move. When you do this, go back into your sculpt mode. All right. Go back into your sculpt mode. I'm going to take the crease brush. Call my attention if I'm going too fast and if you need to meet up. All right. So I'll take the crease brush here, crease, and I want to cut a demarcation that looks like where the base of our knights begin. So with the crease brush, it is one of those brushes you can click and hold while you rub off. All right. You click and hold to rub off. So as you rub off, we'll go to the front elevation to see what we've created here. This must be very deep. So can you see what I've done here? All right, so if you guys can see what I've done here, we're going to come now with our smooth brush and smoothing out. So I've smoothened this out. This is what it looks like from the front elevation. All right. So I want to drag this place upwards a bit. This, the chest, something like the chest of the knight. All right. I'll go here to use this elastic deform brush. I can hold and pull an environment around the vertex. So I'll come to the chest and have this. All right. Once I have that, I'll pull out the back of the neck, especially the lower side, because I want to achieve a curve. I want to achieve a curve here. I hope my clipping is still on. Yes, it is. So just come to the back of the horse or the knight and then drag away. Now this is too much. Yeah. And come to underneath the neck, which is in front here, where the Adam's apple is supposed to be, although the horse doesn't have one. Then hold and pull inwards. Okay, pull inwards. Then come to the tip of the nose or the tip of the face, just in front of the face here, where my mouse is, and then pull in. Come again, pull in. Come again, pull in. Come again, pull in. So this is what we want to achieve. It's looking like a duck. It's looking like a duck now, but then we're getting very close to what we want to achieve. All right. Please confirm that you have something that looks like my duck here.
I do.
Okay. All right. So now this might be too long. The mouth of the horse, all right, might be too long right now. It shouldn't go beyond the chest here. All right. So you can go to your modeling tab or your modeling workspace. Select this place. Use your C selection, and just take the nose or the mouth section, then grab it. Reduce the circumference if your proportional editing is still on. So grab and reduce it. All right. So we can go back into sculpting now. And this is what we have. All right. So we have a lot of smoothing to do now, especially on the face. So do your smoothing with clicks. Remember, We'll work on this elevation after we have smoothed out all the things we did, especially at the back here. All right. Okay. So there is something here. This is not very beautiful. So behind the neck of the horse, we need this button, this layer brush, this brush, layer brush, all right? Layer brush would give us this effect. It's almost like inflate, except that it's like it's heaping a layer upon that particular part. See, if I click away, it looks like the mane of the horse is coming out. I think it's called the mane, yeah. Now, feel free to tell me when you're having challenges because your mirror modifier is still on. The mirror part of your objects, your brushes will not be working for the sculpts, all right? So you have to be on this side, on the actual side, because this other side is just mirrored. So keep giving it the layers.
So I can't hear.
So when you have to sizable,
Something is breaking your internet. Something the internet is. I can't hear anything.
I'm on class. Hello guys. So the internet has been crazy. I'm sharing my screen right away. If you look at the shape of the night piece, you would notice that we're already getting close to wrapping it up. All right. If you can see my screen, please confirm that this is what you have.
Yes, I can see a screen.
Okay. Do you have something that looks close to this from the guidance so far? So try to beat your objects. Try to beat it and see if there's any place you need my help while I do this. So if there's something you see on my own screen and you want to get to know how I achieve that, please do ask. All right.
How do you get the mail?
Come again, the nose
The
or the
main,
main?
main.
Okay, the main. You can use the draw brush and draw on it. All right. See what I did here now. You see, I just used the draw brush to bring out this section, but we don't even need it.
Okay, sir.
So as you use the draw brush, inflate brush, layer brush, and the clay brushes to pull out segments of your object, remember to smoothen them out with your smooth brush, okay? And now see, this is the effect of me smoothing with click and hold, okay? So remember to just give it gentle taps. Gentle taps. It looks like I'm losing the entire main to this smooth effect. Come here, reduce your strength to 0.5. Reduce your brush to 30 pixels. And draw. Rub the draw brush in the section where you should have the main. Okay. We should do the eyes next. Now look at the nose of your knight. All right. If it's still looking like a buffy duck, take your smooth brush. Take your smooth brush and work on the jaw. Work on the mouth, the sides of the mouth, smoothing this out here. Concentrate on moving it like you're rubbing off the cheek. All right, so that you have something like this. Then we'll come back to this main later. So take the crease is to cutting, okay, to have a slight cut. So we want to cut the mouth of the knight in. So when we have this, you can use the smooth. Let me try flatten. Okay, we need the smooth. Gently click at vertices in that section. All right. Now, because of our mirror, you see that there's a line here that seems to not take a lot of the effects of these other brushes. So you can take this grab brush, hold and move. All right. Okay. Please tell me if you've gotten the mouth of the knight. We're grabbing the vertices. All right. When we have this, You go back to your crease. I want to use the crease to rub off the eye. Okay. So move your crease. Oh, okay, the strength needs to be increased here. Sorry. Make it 0.7. Increase the radius to 50 points. And then try creasing the eyes. Okay, the radius needs to come down a bit. But then let's crease this and see. The eyes are too large. My radius is now 20 points. All right. So this is what we have, but then it's not as smooth as what we want. So this is what we'll do at this point. Control Z, that is to undo that action. We can go back to our modeling workspace and add more subdivisions to this mesh. Okay. So A to select everything, right click and subdivide once more. All right. Just one subdivision. You're not going to do anything here. All right. Don't do anything. If you do anything more, if you do it too much, your sculpting will be smoother if you do it. You know, if you have more mesh vertices, you would have better sculpting. But then it depends on what system you have. Your system might lag. All right. The more meshes you have, or the more vertices and faces you have on your mesh, the more work your system has to do to calculate all their normals. All right. So I've subdivided just one step. We'll go back to sculpting and then try making the eyes with this strength and this radius. So this is better. So the beauty of sculpting is that you have more meshes. If you have even tinier faces than this, your sculpt is going to go smooth like you're working with clay. All right, see how easy the mouth is going now. We're not struggling. So the secret to sculpting is basically have more mesh to work with, more faces rather, and vertices to work with. So back to this guy, you see he's coming out smoothly here. The main, I mean. So just rub it off. All right, go to your modeling tab, right click and use smooth vertices. Modeling, right click and look for smooth vertices to have something smoother. Okay, you can go back to your sculpting tab and work on the base section a bit here. Want it to look uniformed instead of like we forgot about it. All right, so I'm trying to inflate it, but then I'm using a small radius. Let's use 50 and inflate better. This is what we have. I'll take my crease here and cut a line. That line is too thick. Oh, 20. All right. So guys, I don't know if you can hear this beep sound. That's uh, my UPS crying. I'm working on the desktop, so I might have to leave you guys at this point. I know we lost a lot of time trying to battle with networks, but we came a good length with this. If you have something that looks like mine, then you have uh, your night piece almost ready.